Hello and welcome, Must Players. I'm Mark Santamartino, and this is your sort of weekly dose of everything gaming, film, entertainment, frankly, anything we want to talk about. Sitting to my left is a man who's been here for the past 23 episodes since we started this show earlier in the year, Julian Price. How are you, Jules?
I'm pretty good. I'm a bit nervous because we're doing something a bit different today.
We'll get into that. And beside you is Ryan Mason. How you doing, Maso?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks. Good.
Just a little bit nervous. That's
Good.
okay. We're doing something a little bit different this week. It is our last show for 2018, our Christmas special, where we're going to be announcing our game of the year, which was voted on by you during the past fortnight. And to make this a little bit special, we're doing a test. We're going live. We're back in the garage. This is streaming live to Facebook. Of course, we will still be posting the full podcast edited up on YouTube a little bit later in the week. But right now, we're 100% live. This is basically what every news service around the world is doing, and something that we contribute to most nights.
And we have 5 people watching us.
We love it. Right now, we've got Jen Allen, Priscilla, my girlfriend, Benny Bremer,
Benny,
who's just over there.
Tim Finesse, our cameraman, as well as Darcy Wiedemann, all watching. Thank you so much for tuning in nice and early. Please leave a comment and get interacting with us during the show. Gentlemen, it's going to be a big week. We've got plenty to talk about, but we wanted to start with our game of the year. It's finally here. It's the end of 2018, and we need to discuss what is our must-play game of this season. Now, we each put forward a few titles, so we might just recap. Maso, what were your 2?
2? I thought we had 3.
Well, we each had 2, plus we added Red Dead Redemption and
Right,
Fortnite
okay,
as sort of
yeah.
some specials.
Well, mine was, I did basically 2. One, full multiplayer. Mine was COD Black Ops, because they really perfected the...
We're trying to get this stream working. Remember, this is live for the first time, so we want to make sure that we are 110% going. Have we lost the battery on the camera?
The battery on the camera's gone.
Oh my god, we are purely audio at the moment. That's okay. Let's just keep going.
This is audio only at the moment, I think.
Let's just focus on
Hang
the
on.
fact that
Let's run some Black Ops Vision.
Let's just focus on the fact that Tim Finesse had one job.
He had one job, and he's put on a dead battery.
It was to make sure that the camera worked, and unfortunately at the moment we are struggling. Now, we've already got a quote from Tim. It's one of our first comments in the group. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Obviously wasn't talking about himself.
We're doing a great job.
Yeah.
We're doing a great job, and my girlfriend chipping in with Killing It Boys.
Yeah.
Have a Merry Christmas. Thanks, babe.
Finesse.
Well, we are talking about what are the games we've nominated. Your first one was Call of Duty.
This one we're watching right now, which is Black Ops, which I loved because not only is it a great multiplayer first-person shooter, but they perfected the Battle Royale. It is the best Battle Royale out that you can play now. They took it to a whole nother level, and they really show what you can do with AAA money on a BR mode. My other game, which is more of a single player sort of strategy game, is this one here, which is RimWorld.
Yes.
Which I absolutely loved.
A game that that Jules and I have doubted on several occasions throughout the year.
I've copped a bit of abuse for it, I have, but I loved it. It's I've probably sunk the most hours into it of any game this year, I reckon. As everyone can hear Tim panting.
Yes, he's
run.
sprinted back to the car.
Yeah.
He's gotten a fresh battery, so the camera should be working. There we go. We're live. We're back. Thanks, Tim. You had one job. Anyway, Jules, your 2 games before we get into the votes.
Well, Spider-Man is my main game.
Yes.
Spider-Man is my main game. And then, as much as you don't like it, Spyro was my number 2.
Something that I had a big issue with last week was the fact that you nominated Spyro at all, because it's a remake.
Yeah.
But it is a new game.
It's sort of a new game. Look, we won't count it.
And I'm not the only one, it seems, who thinks it's worthy. So
we'll get to the abomination that is the public vote in a moment. My 2 personal games that I nominated were God of War and an indie title, Celeste, which I don't think has done too well in the public vote. So
You're joining me with RimWorld down the bottom of the list, mate.
But I mean, in terms of the games that we played, I mean, this one, which was developed by one guy, Celeste, I believe, is what you've got up on your screen at the moment, May. So it is just simply phenomenal. I mean, this little girl's journey up a mountain, which is obviously a metaphor for her journey to beat her own anxiety and her depression, is something that I absolutely loved. It was so charming, and it's just a great platformer. In fact, Jules, you've been playing it the past 4 months.
I made an effort to jump into it. I mean, I haven't picked it up as much as I would have liked in the last week since we were talking about it. So from what I've played, I can see why you have put this down on your list.
All right. If anyone has some last minute votes, by all means, comment below. Let us know what your game of the year is, and maybe by the end of the episode, it will sway our vote. But this is how the public vote went. Or maybe we should reveal our own votes first. Do you want to do that, and then we can talk about the public vote, or should we just get that out of the way?
Oh, let's do it. Ours?
Ours first? All right, fine. Let's start with you, mate. So now we're doing it like the Brownlow system. 3, 2, 1. You've got 3 votes.
3, 2, 1. So
6, technically.
3 votes for me go to RimWorld. 2 votes for me, somewhat controversial because I haven't played it, but I've watched a complete playthrough of someone else playing it. So 2 votes, God of War.
I cannot believe that you have not played it, but
I've watched a complete
Mate,
playthrough.
you hadn't played it before 2 weeks ago yourself.
yeah, but I didn't give it
2
Game of
votes.
the
Yeah.
Year.
I didn't give Game of the Year, RimWorld. And 1 for me to COD.
To Call of Duty. All right,
Yeah.
fair enough. Now, on to you, Mr. Spyro lover. Come on, Jules. What are your
So my
3,
3
2, 1?
votes go to Spider-Man.
Good.
My 2 votes go to God of War.
So you actually played it enough in the Fortnite.
I didn't finish it,
Yep.
but I have been playing it quite a lot this week. And yes, it has gained my votes. I cannot believe it's taken me this long to get onto it. And my 1 vote goes to Spyro.
Goes to Spyro. You got to throw it a bone, hey?
Only 1 it will get.
Plus
We should
the
say
9 others.
Of course, we have been having a very special friend of the show, David Fish Pether, also filling in during the
Fish,
year.
of course.
He has delivered his 3 votes to us. He couldn't be with us tonight because he is in Mexico. Unfortunately for us, probably incredible for him.
I can't believe you're going to Mexico and miss this.
How dare he? I
Yeah.
mean, of all the events during the year to miss, the final episode of Must Play for 2018 is pretty reprehensible. But his votes were 3 for Detroit Become Human, 2 for Ni no Kuni 2, which is a Japanese role-playing game, and he also threw Red Dead Redemption 2 a bone with 1 vote. Finally, mine are going to be 3 for God of War, 2 for Celeste, which is a game that I've spoken way too much about, but does not have a chance of winning, and my 1's going to Spider-Man. In fact, I was very close to giving Spider-Man 3. I played it a bit more during this week, but I went back and played Celeste and God of War as well, and I still think that they're my best. Now, on to your public votes. Now, this could potentially sway who wins our must-play game of the year. So why don't you talk about why I suppose you voted for RimWorld as well as Spider-Man, and I'll tally up what we've got between the 4 of us, and then we can get to the public vote.
Okay, sure. So I'll RimWorld, I think because there's so much game mechanics in it, it's very simple. Like the whole game file is only 200 meg or something, so it runs on any laptop, any hunk of junk computer you've got. But just the game mechanics and the variety of it, you'll never ever play the same game twice. And even then, I've only ever gotten off the planet. The sole goal is to get off the planet. You've got to build a ship, get your colony off the planet, and I've only ever managed to do that once. So I don't know how many tries I've had to go at it, but probably 6 or 7.
But I guess there's so much in between that's stopping you from that goal.
You can go out to other camps, other colonies. You know, you can interact with people, tribesmen. You've got all these little quests, you know, that come up throughout the game. So that's why. Just because of it's a very well done indie game.
They're great. I love a
They're
well-done
great.
indie
Yeah,
because
they're
you
absolutely
don't go
great.
in necessarily expecting so much, but you end up coming away with
Yeah.
so much more, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because it shocks you and you get to fall into it without expecting too much, which is always great and something that I never get from AAA titles
And
anymore.
it was one of those ones that I saw it on Steam for like $8, I think, and I picked it up. And I thought, I've heard about this, and then
Mate, $8 isn't
download
bad
it.
for a game which is rated like 94
I
on
know.
Metacritic.
even in Australia, it took 2 minutes to download because it's such a small game file. And then I remember playing it and then looking at the clock, going, "I've got work tomorrow. Oh, it's 3 a.m." and then, like, I've got to go to bed. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, look, after a preliminary count, I'm actually quite surprised by this because I didn't think God of War would get votes from you, at least, Meso. But we have God of War on 7, Spider-Man on 4, and currently in 3rd, I suppose we've either got RimWorld or Detroit Become Human. Now, the public vote. I must say I'm very disappointed in all of you.
Yeah.
Last week,
Has any of you played the game?
in the last episode, I was so upset when Jules nominated Spyro because, frankly, it doesn't deserve to be there. It got a 1 from him. Oh no, it got a 2 from you. Or a
No,
1.
one. It got a
It got a
1.
1 from
One
him.
from Jules.
So the fact that it was his own nominated game is already a disgrace. But because I was obviously upset that Jules had nominated what in my opinion, something that completely degrades our game of the year. Everyone else decided that voting for Spyro would be a fantastic idea. Tim Finesse, our cameraman.
It is the stuff for you to say.
Yeah, it was one of the 9 people that voted for Spyro. In the end, during our public vote, 9 people voted for Spyro. So that is getting 3 votes from the public. 6 people voted for Red Dead Redemption 2. Much better, which gets an extra 2 votes. And Spider-Man, which got 5 votes, will get the extra 1. So thank you so much to everyone who voted. But unfortunately, I don't think that changes the final result at all. It looks like God of War is going to be our game of the year, our must-play title of 2018, according to everyone here at Must Play. So, again, it's a game that I've played through. Jules has just started and Meso's watched a few streams of. But
I watched the whole thing, a complete playthrough.
It is a phenomenal title, and it is one that I believe, even though it came out so much earlier in the year and was always going to have a tough time sort of forcing itself back into the conversation of Game of the Year when we've just had Red Dead Redemption 2 and so many other titles like Smash Bros.
Spider-Man came out like a couple of weeks after it, or 3 or 4 weeks after it too.
Yeah,
Another
it was
strong game straight away.
So it was always going to be tough, but I think personally this was my original nominee for Game of the Year. It is just beautiful, and as a cameraman, Ryan, I think you can certainly appreciate the fact that they have managed to make a game which is all entirely one shot.
There's no loading screens and the whole game's one shot. It's incredible how they've done that.
It is absolutely
incredible.
It took me a while to realise that, just because it was so smooth.
Do you know that's why? Because I started watching it from the beginning, and then couldn't stop because maybe I do sort of have a link with work that I just ended up watching like 25 hours of it.
No, look, it's a great game. If you haven't tried it yet, it is our must-play game of 2018, so check it out. By all means, if you had a game that you loved this year and we haven't mentioned it at all, make sure to comment on our Facebook chat, and we will mention it during the show at some point. But on to the news of, I suppose, the week, the month, the fortnight. I mean, we haven't really had a show since our last one back in November, so we'll get through some of the news headlines just so you feel like you don't missing out. And we want to start with a big one for viewers here in Australia, and that is the fact that Disney is finally back on a streaming service. It has a dedicated streaming service, but not what we initially expected. We all thought Disney was maybe gearing up for the launch of its own service here in Australia, but it turns out that Stan is the new home of Disney. And that's not just...
And what a move.
What a move.
Yeah, how the hell did Stan do that?
Huge for Stan. And it's not just obviously the classic animation that we're getting.
It's everything.
It's Star Wars, it's Marvel, it's all the big hitters, it's Pixar, all coming on one platform, which... To be honest, I've been a Stan subscriber for a long time. Haven't really used it for much else than rewatching Breaking Bad whenever I felt like it. But all of a sudden, there is a reason to go there over Netflix on a nightly basis.
This is definitely.
I went and got it when the announcement was made. I saw it on Twitter, and I went home and got Stan.
And they are throwing everything at this.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the way here, I counted 2 billboards that just had, Disney, Stan, showing all the main players in the movies.
I don't know why Disney would do that with their own streaming service coming out.
That's the interesting question. Like, do they eventually
take them off,
ditch Stan and just
like?
Or maybe it is only a short contract.
Yeah.
And they're just going to pump it up, get everyone on board, and
seems like a weird thing to do. Regardless, you've taken a photo there where we show Thor, Iron Man, and Black Panther all on Stan at the moment. Speaking of the Avengers, I suppose we got a trailer in the past fortnight for the final Avengers movie, Endgame. Very somber trailer. We're not going to show it at the moment, but it really shows Tony Stark, Captain America. A lot of the main players look really down and out. Of course, we won't spoil the end of the first film, but if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know what is stopping you.
It's on Stan. No, it's not on Stan. Not yet.
Basically, it's all up to the original Avengers to save the day after Thanos had the last laugh at the end of Civil War. Not Civil War. What is it called?
Infinity War.
Infinity War. Apologies. I think this is really gearing up to be the main movie. We saw Hawkeye come back. Ant-Man is back in the picture as well. How he got out of the quantum realm, I have absolutely no idea.
Should have stayed in there.
Meso's eyes are just glossing over because he has no idea what I'm talking about. And
I know who Ant-Man is. This movie sucked.
Anyway, his movie did not suck. It was great. Second one was even good too, so I would recommend that. I love the fact that they're back. It doesn't come out until, I think it's April. April this year. And we've got Captain Marvel coming out first. So I hope that there's a really key indication as to where that story's going in her standalone film.
Well, she's teased in the movie, isn't she?
She is, she's definitely teased in the first one. Whether or not her origin story has anything to do with what's happened
Avengers,
recently is yet to be seen. I'm going to skip over this note that I'd left for myself to discuss the Sonic the Hedgehog animated poster because it looks
Horrifying.
bizarre. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I don't know if you've seen it, Meso, but basically they initially
Is it on
released
there?
an animated poster which just had sort of a furry Sonic in silhouette. You could just sort of see his fur
And his thin
and
legs
blue.
and
Yeah,
Oh,
weird,
no, skip
weird
leg
legs,
day.
and he's got like a nice sort of brand new set of red runners. But then they released another photo, another poster, which was him on top of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. You just sort of see the blue blur trace that he's left behind to get up there. But the way his legs are positioned are just not physically possible to do. So everyone online was trying to recreate the position of his legs because it's sort of taken from a first-person perspective.
Oh no.
And it's just anatomically incorrect. Anyway, I don't know how that got past the people in the marketing department, but that's what they've come up with. And apparently Sonic has got some really, really bizarre things going on with his hips. He's able to adjust those in a way that is not humanly possible.
Legs spin independently.
I'm
Anyway,
gonna say,
that's
look,
true. He does have ridiculous legs.
yes. Tim is just pointing out how can we complain about his legs and the position when they spin independently, which I think is a very apt point. I wanted to make a quick note of the new Star Wars TV series, Jules, simply because you are here wearing your Star Wars t-shirt.
What's that?
The TV series, which has Jon Favreau at the helm currently, The Mandalorian, which is going to follow some bounty hunters very similar to
Very
Boba Fett.
excited for this one.
The entire cast was announced, and of course there are some notable names in there, but the one that caught my eye straight away is Carl Weathers. I think anything with Carl Weathers in it, of course, Apollo Creed from Rocky or Carl Weathers playing Carl Weathers from Arrested Development. 100% in my book, I will give that a watch simply to see what Carl is up to. But Jules, as our resident Star Wars nerd, did this do anything for you? Was it?
Any little update I can get just gives me fuel to keep going.
It feeds the beast that is Julian
makes
Price.
time pass by until it finally
gosh,
comes out.
I'm very keen.
Well, Star Wars Rebels is on, Stan. Get stuck into that again.
There you go.
Again? Yeah.
More and more options.
It'll have to be again.
In terms of 2018 as a whole, I mean, we've seen a lot of leaks, I feel like, when it comes to the video game world. I mean, we've known about characters in Smash Brothers. Well, I suppose they were rumours, but they did eventually come true, which lends them a bit of...
plant
Yeah.
gave a fair bit of moaning on.
Yeah, that one though, no one saw coming. We must talk about the fact that earlier this year we had that Harry Potter game seemingly leak out of nowhere, which we still haven't had an announcement for. So that is well before
Yeah,
it was
because it's
initially...
probably leaked and they went, everyone's seen too much, let's delete it all.
Yeah.
But one I wanted to talk about in the past fortnight or so, it seems as though Kingdom Hearts 3, the long-awaited title set partially in the Disney universe thanks to a partnership with Square Enix, coming late next month, has been leaked online, at least partially leaked online. And the game's director, Tetsuya Nomura, released a statement just to acknowledge this, saying that we are aware of how this has all happened. The game's epilogue, as well as the secret movie, which are the biggest spoilers in the game, are planned to release at a later date just in case. So it's almost like they anticipated that this could
The
happen.
leak. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's come from an internal QA team or maybe it's a review copy they sent out really early, but it sounds as though Square Enix will be locking down on this one, 110%. But obviously disappointing for anyone that was looking forward to the game. I know there's so many people out there that do regular updates on YouTube or otherwise who are basically warning their fans to just not look up anything Square Enix or Kingdom Hearts related because you will find a spoiler online. Obviously, they're doing everything in their power to get those videos off YouTube as fast as possible. Now, this one's kind of interesting. Fortnite, Jules.
Yeah.
A game that you love because you've only ever played one game of,
Yeah.
and you won by doing absolutely nothing and
I'm the
getting
best at it.
0 kills.
Apparently it's easy in Jules' world.
That's it. I probably have the best kill-death ratio in the world.
0 for 0. For one victory royale.
Your win ratio would be
Yeah, that's it,
decent.
sorry.
Yeah.
Well, the publisher behind Fortnite is actually being sued now, not because of, I suppose, anything they've done with the matchmaking or the battle royale, but the emotes that come with your characters. Of course, if you win or you do particularly well at Fortnite, you can do a dance. You can attach a dance to your character. And it all started when the man who plays Carlton in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I'm sure everyone is very familiar with his dance. I'm not going to do it for you now.
Why not?
One, because I can't, but it's sort of the arms flailing, that sort of thing. They added that dance to the game.
Yeah.
And he's decided to come out and sue them. and say, nah, not having that. That is my intellectual property. I want to get paid if you're going to use that in the game.
Well, I don't think he's the only one. I think I read today that Backpack Kid's come out and sued him for the floss dance as well.
He has. The man that gained international fandom and really
Yeah.
started a...
I thought I saw there was a rapper who also sued.
Ooh, I haven't seen the rapper, but I know the kid that
Line 'em
did
up.
the floss dance during the Katy Perry concert or whatever that
Yeah,
was.
the Backpack Kid.
That has gone crazy online, and obviously it was added to Fortnite a while ago. But I think now that he's seen that Carlton has jumped on board the legal train, he's doing the exact same thing.
I shouldn't tell Carlton this, but Tim, you might. I think that dance is in Destiny.
Is that in Destiny as well?
No, it is
I think
too.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But he obviously doesn't know that yet.
Confirmation. If you're going to go after Fortnite, you've got to go after Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to get a clip of that up on our Facebook page.
Destiny 1, is it? Yeah, I can't. I thought I've seen it in another game, and then, yeah, Destiny.
All right. I'm going to stop you right here because if I let you, you both will talk about Destiny until the night is over. So,
No votes in the game of the year.
no, absolutely no votes in Game of the
Came
Year.
out last year.
I'm surprised. There was an expansion this year, but we won't count
Yeah.
that.
Second came out this year.
Anyway,
It's DLC.
really briefly, we got some code names for the apparent new Xbox. They are going to be Lockhart and Anaconda. I'm sure Nicki Minaj is very happy with that reference. Is that what you were laughing at there, Mason?
Yeah, you can't say Anaconda anymore.
No, absolutely not.
No, not since that day.
Apparently, Anaconda is going to be the bigger and beefier version of the console. It's going to be so much stronger than whatever Lockhart is. This is all.
What if having code names if they all get released?
Yeah. Well, I suppose this is all as a result of a report from a website called Windows Central. We've had so many rumors about the new line of Xboxes recently, whether or not, that they were going to be a family of systems, that they were going to be cloud-based or diskless. We still don't know when it's coming, but one would wager 2020 if it gets released or revealed next year, unless they try to do a Nintendo and do the reveal and the release really, really quickly. So yeah, just another little tidbit of information on the Xbox if you're looking forward to the next generation. And by all means, if you are a movie lover, we haven't mentioned too much about film outside of the Marvel franchise and the fact that plenty of Disney stuff is going to be on stand this week, but our resident cinephile, David Fish-Pether, who's over in Mexico at the moment, has watched so many films in the past fortnight and done a whole bunch of reviews, which are up at mustplay.net.au at the moment. And he's got reviews up for The Grinch, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Mortal Engines, and he loved that new Spider-Man movie.
He did,
Oh, he
didn't
did.
he? Yeah, loved it. He's not the only one though. I think quite a few
There's been some
reviews
great
I've seen.
reviews for that.
Yeah, he's smashing out of the park. Spider-Man can do no wrong.
No, absolutely not. Great video game, great animated film, and we know Tom Holland is doing very well in Homecoming, so he's going to be back in some way, shape, or form in Avengers Endgame before that new Far From Home movie comes out. I don't think that's next year as well. Disney's going to have a big year. By the way, they cracked $7 billion this year at the box office, which is just the second time. Second time they've ever done it, and with Star Wars Episode 9 coming out next year, as well as the second part of the Avengers, the new Spider-Man movie, the new Captain Marvel, Toy Story 4.
I did
They're
see
gonna
the
do so
top
well.
10 grossing movies of this year are either Marvel movies or sequels.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Out of the
I
top
think
10 grossing movies.
Disney had the top 5,
Yeah.
with the only exception being Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom,
Yeah.
which is effectively the 5th movie in that
Which
franchise.
is, yeah.
Something worth mentioning about the new Star Wars movie.
Yep.
Kevin Smith, he was on daytime morning American TV show, and he was talking about his visit to the new set, and he basically was saying that this is like J.J. Abrams is pretty much running a country. This film studio is so big for this new movie, and he said he saw one of the best performances by an actor that they've ever given, and he's seen all these spoilers. And go watch his little interview. He's so
really?
passionate about Star
Yeah, but let's be
Wars.
honest, he's been bigging up every Star Wars thing under the sun in the past
Irrelevant.
3 or 4 years. Irrelevant. Keep your hopes up nice and high, Jules.
I like the prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to fix The Last Jedi. According to a lot I love The Last Jedi.
I love Last Jedi.
I
It's one
loved
of my
it too.
favourites. Yeah, one of my favourites.
How are we finally on the same page with something? This makes no
I
sense.
feel
And
like
it's
we're
The
all
Last
on the
Jedi.
same page.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've ever hated The Last Jedi.
Anyway, we're about to talk about what our favourite Christmas memories in terms of video games are. What, was that one game that arrived underneath the tree. But before we do that, I just want to talk about Super Smash Bros. Really quickly. It's the biggest game of December, in my opinion. It came out on the 7th here in Australia. I loved it so much, I spent $110 just so I could get the coloured controller because, you know,
Do you have the Pro controller?
that's, 100% I got the Pro
I'm
controller.
not playing you tonight.
This is what I'm going to be
I'm
playing.
going to have that crappy Joy-Con, and you're going to be there.
No, I've got 4 main controllers. Don't worry about that.
Oh.
But all of us are going to be hanging out and playing a little bit after the show. I just wanted to quickly note, I mean, it's sort of a quasi-review of this thing. It's everything a Smash Brothers fan would want. It's everything a Smash Brothers fan would hope for. It has more characters than ever before. The new characters are fantastic. When I say that not because they're the best in the game, but just because they're so much different to anything else, to any other character that's come before. So many of them have unique attributes. Their designs are great, and to have King K. Rool as well as Ridley and Incineroar in there, who are big, beefy characters to round out a roster which was largely quick characters, I think has been fantastic. So, big tick on the characters, and of course we found out that Joker from the Persona series is going to be making an appearance during the Game Awards, which is huge news, given that Persona 5 is certainly not on the Switch at the moment. And I also just wanted to quickly mention the World of Light mode, the single-player campaign in there, which everyone was thinking might be a little bare bones. I don't know how much of it you've seen. But we saw that amazing initial cutscene, which you will get to see again if you boot up the game and start that adventure campaign yourself. But after that, it is largely just a sequence of what was previously in the game event matches, where you sort of play through really weird rule changes, like regular Smashes, but with wacky rules based on now these spirits that you are essentially fighting at any given time. And even though it's not my favourite mode in the game, it is certainly a great addition. It's really fun if you do not have, like in my instance, my brother around or a friend around that you can actually just fight one-on-one and you don't want to go online. It is a great fun option. So it is quite literally the ultimate package. I can't wait for Piranha Plant now to come out in February. I know I hated on it a lot.
Would it have got a vote from you if it came out earlier?
Probably not. Not in the grand scheme of the other games that I voted for, which were God of War, Celeste, and Spider-Man. All in my opinion because they sort of brought something unexpected. God of War took it to a new level. Celeste just, blew me away. And I think Spider-Man as well just sort of perfected what was promised in that Spider-Man 2. It was the game that we sort of remember playing way back when. But Smash Brothers is Smash Brothers. It is very similar mechanically to the Wii U version, which I played to death, although they have added in great things like an air dodge and all the rest, which do change it up enough. It's just a great version of Smash Brothers. So I suppose, is that... It probably does factor in the conversation for Game of the Year.
It's pretty some pretty good games. It's a tough year to get into 3.
Exactly. Particularly with a game which is the 6th entry in a franchise.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be hard unless you really shake it up. And I suppose that segues into what was my favourite Christmas game. I will never forget... given it's crazy to think, given how closely I follow Smash Brothers now, watching every single video they put out, dissecting every character to sort of work out what I'm going to play when the game finally does release. But back in 1998, I think it was, or 1999, when I was a 6 or 7 year old, I still remember going under my Christmas tree and unwrapping that gift from Santa and it being the original Super Smash Brothers. I had no idea what it was, no concept of it. Yeah. And it's something that's so foreign to me now because I feel like I know pretty much...
Was that the one on the 64?
Yeah, the 64.
Yeah.
The original Super Smash Brothers 64. But it's amazing to me thinking that back then I had no concept of this game, which, now I follow so closely. And I suppose thanks to the advent of the internet, everyone does follow the games. Like, we know about COD before it comes out, You watch the trailers to Destiny or whatever else at E3, and that's the focus on how you decide your games, as opposed to just rocking up to a store and saying, oh, that cover looks nice and pretty, I'm going to give that a go.
Yeah, gone are those days.
So I think it's fascinating. I still remember playing that game all through Christmas morning and not going to church, much to the chagrin of my father, because we had to play, Link versus Pikachu.
Well,
Link was what I played. Yeah, Link was, because that's the only one I played. Yeah.
How about you, gents? I know I've been rambling on non-stop for the past 10 minutes, so you take the floor. A most amazing Christmas memory, video game related.
I think the only video game that I've got for Christmas, I think I got WCW versus NWO Revenge on the 64.
Holy!
And
is that a wrestling game? What is that?
Yeah, it was amazing. I didn't know really what it was because I've never watched wrestling, but I think someone did exactly that. Went into the store, looked at the cover, and went, "That looks good."
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. It was good fun. Because I didn't really know what it was at the time. But
I still remember opening that cardboard box, and you go through the manual first, and you're trying to work out the controls and everything. Well, so many games don't have manuals these days.
Because I think I got it like. It was sort of a Christmas gift in that someone bought it for me. I was in the store with them and they gave it to me right then and there.
Yeah.
But like where the store was where I grew up was about an hour and a half from home. So, you know, you're in the car on the ride home, you've read through the manual 8 times by the time you get home, you know, like you've gone through everything, just waiting to get home and throw it in. But I think that was mine, yeah.
Beautiful.
Other than getting socks tonight.
Yeah. Danny Santamartino, shout out to you, Mum, for cooking us dinner every Wednesday night. There's Tim's. He's got a nice little set of Space Invader socks. We've gone with the classic video game theme. I think the boys are happy with that one. Merry Christmas, boys.
Beautiful.
Jules,
Thank you very much.
really quick, your favourite Christmas-related
One of
video game
my
memory?
my biggest video game Christmas memories is getting the Xbox.
Ooh, the original.
Holy hell.
The original Xbox with
That
Halo.
Beefy
and,
controller.
yeah,
Halo.
beefy controller. Yeah, Halo and Jet Set Radio.
Why are you sniggering at that?
Halo,
They-
Halo
You got
was just-
something against Jet Set Radio?
I have something against Jet Set Radio.
I'm interested.
But
to hear.
Halo was the best ever.
It
yeah.
came with the console. I didn't go out of my way to buy Jet Set Radio, but I
Yeah.
played it a lot, and it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one for me, and I guess always receiving a Pokemon game made me excited.
Yeah. Every year, Pokemon games became a staple for a while.
Yeah,
I
one
got
that's sticking in my memory is Pokemon Gold.
I still remember getting Pokemon. My brother and I got Pokemon Gold and Silver the game before we were given the Game Boys,
Oh,
which
Oh,
is bizarre.
did you unwrap them in the wrong order?
Yeah, we know
Yeah.
we knew that we were going. Oh, well, it sort of lent itself to the fact that we were going to get Game Boys
Yeah,
at some
later on
point.
you're
But you
there
know,
picking it.
you're looking at this game going, I have absolutely no
Yeah.
idea. What am I supposed to do? It was the most disappointing moment as a kid. The only more disappointing Christmas gift I ever received was when I knew we were getting a DVD player, like very shortly. It was coming. We'd bought our new TV and DVD player. It was coming over from JV Hi-Fi or Harvey Norman, and I still remember getting Shrek on VHS. And I don't think there is nothing more
Dirty.
disappointing to a kid who's
Dirty.
excited for that new DVD player than to get Shrek on
they
VHS.
released Shrek on VHS.
Yeah.
It would have been at the tipping point,
That's
I
how
guess.
long ago it was.
Shrek, yeah.
Anyway,
I
look,
guess so.
if there's nothing else we want to add, we would like to just say a big Merry Christmas to everyone that's watching right now and everyone that will watch later on YouTube or otherwise. It's been a fantastic year for us. I mean, we're still sort of building up. We're trialing something new tonight with the live feed, and we hope that that can be a staple in 2019. But really, it's just been a lot of fun. We enjoy getting together every Wednesday night or other night of the week to have a yak about what we'd be chatting about at work or, you know, on the phone or over Discord anyway during the week. And it's been a pleasure having these two gents around every single week, and
Thank
for
you,
Tim
mate.
when he can join us.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. I hope that you've joined us along the way and had some fun too. Please, by all means, head over to mustplay.net.au to keep up to date with everything that we do. We'd love to pump out more content, but of course we have lives and jobs and all the rest to do as well. But we do love all the feedback we get. So once again, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Jules.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Ryan. And thank you, Dave, who can't be here tonight. It's been a great 2018, and we look forward to taking a small break and then hitting our straps hard in 2019. Tim wants me to say we'll catch you on the flip side.
Say it!
Why not? We will catch you on the flip side of the new year. I'm never saying that again. That is my New Year's resolution. I assure you that will be gone from the podcast next year. But it's been a great time every single moment that we get together, gents. So thank you again for joining us, and good night.